A deeper dig into the parable of the talents. We're going to talk about the parable of the talents found in Matthew 25:14 through 30. Now, a talent in the Old Testament was a unit of weight, equaling about 75 pounds. In the New Testament, it's a unit of monetary reckoning, valued at about 20 years worth of wages for a laborer. So that's a lot of money. Now, in Matthew 25:14 through 15, it says, "For it will be like a man going on a journey, who called his servants and entrusted them to his property. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2 talents, to one 1 talent, to each according to his ability. Then he went away. Now the one that had received 5 talents went at once and traded with them, and he made 5 more talents. And the one that got 2 talents made another 2 talents. However, the one who had received the 1 talent went and dug in the ground and hid his master's money. Now, after a long time, the master of the servants came back and settled the accounts with them. And the one that had received 5 talents came forward, bringing 5 more talents, saying, 'Master, you delivered to me 5 talents. Here, I have made another 5. His master said to him, 'Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master.' And the one who had the 2 talents came forward. 'Master, you delivered me 2 talents. Here, I have made 2 more talents.' The master said the same thing to him. 'Enter into the joy of your master.' However, the one who had received 1 talent came forward and said, 'Master, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you did not sow, and gathering where you scattered no seed. So I was afraid, and I went and hid your talent in the ground. Here, you have what's yours.' The master answered him, 'You wicked and slothful servant. You knew that I reap where I have not sown, and gather where I have not scattered seed. Then you should have invested my money with the bankers, and at my coming I should have received what is my own, plus interest. So take the talent from him and give it to him who has 10 talents. For to everyone who has will more be given, and he will have abundance. But for the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. And cast the worthless servant into the outer darkness. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of the teeth." A deeper dig. Let's go beyond the obvious. For example, is it possible that the servant that got 2 talents initially only got 1? And the servant that got 5 talents had previously gotten 2? I mean, is there a ladder of trust that they had to climb? Because after all, Luke 16:10 says, "He who is faithful in little is also faithful in much." So, are some people getting 1 and then 2 and then 5? Something to think about, right? And then this servant, the one that got the 1 talent, he had a bit of an attitude. And I just wonder if by getting 1, was he resentful or jealous of the master? And his excuse that I was afraid was just a lie. God can read hearts. So sometimes we have to go to God and repent for our attitude. And if the servant was really afraid, why didn't he just reject the talents? Also, something really interesting is that he didn't even ask if he could have 2 or 5 talents. It's okay to ask God. We may not get the answer we want, but it's okay to ask. If this servant didn't believe that the master was good, then there's no reason to ask, right? But what if you would have asked and the master would have said, "Okay, you can have 2. That would have proved the goodness of the master. But he didn't. here's another thing. The master didn't even take or touch the money. Even after saying good and faithful servant to both of them, he didn't take the money. This is a big deal. So look what he says in verse 26. So take the talent from him and give it to the one that has 10 talents. Remember, he was doing a reconciliation of the money. So even after they doubled the money, the master did not take the money. So he allows the faithful servants to continue to reinvest the money. He didn't take it back. This is a point that is missed. This is why, right, the one that has 10 talents now has 11. So God is reinvesting with us. Remember that. Wicked and slothful servant. You know, this servant had an attitude, but he was also very prideful because he didn't seek help from the other two who had greater ability, greater knowledge, and a proven track record. Why didn't he go ask for help? I mean, it says in the verse that the servant that got 5 talents immediately started trading with it. Why didn't he just follow his lead? Why didn't he ask for help? Please get a mentor for counsel where you are weak. Don't be prideful. The master was not being unreasonable. He wasn't requiring them to double the money. That's why he said, you could have at least gotten interest on my money. It was the servant who was being unreasonable. And check this out. After a long time, the master came back to settle the accounts. I mean, he gave them time to invest the money, accrue interest. And I also believe he was giving this third servant some grace, some time to do the right thing, to rise to his ability, which he didn't because he had a bad attitude. For everyone who has, will more be given. But for the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. What is this verse talking about? Has what? Has not what? Faith. Faith leads to actions, and actions are evidence of faith. If you learned anything, subscribe for deeper digs into the Word.